here today at Google Cloud Next. Hopefully a good event for you so far.
It's been fun.
Excellent, excellent. So Craig, can you tell me a little bit today about GKE Hybrid Orchestra?
Yes, of course. We've this week launched the Cloud Services platform, which has a number of components that make it possible to build a hybrid infrastructure across Google Cloud and on-premises environments. We have GKE On-Prem, which allows you to run GKE managed by Google in your own data center. We have Istio 1.0, which allows us to build a hybrid service mesh that connects the two networks together and allows us to seamlessly route traffic between the two locations.
Excellent. So when we interact with this demo, if I slide these back and forth, what will we be creating with this?
We're creating an orchestra. That's the metaphor we're using here, and it's great because we talk about orchestration with GKE. And we have a piece of music which we are piping through in MIDI format. We're sending that out as HTTP calls, REST calls, to our instrument services. When they are received, the music is tagged with the instrument that it needs to be played, and then that's written to Firebase. We have those instrument services running in deployments in both our GKE cluster and GKE On-Prem. And then the wall you see here is showing both a visualization of the scale of the pods that are required for the instrument. So again, if our bassoon is playing, has 5 units of traffic, we can see there's 5 bassoons here playing it. And you can also see and hear the music. And in this case, you can see the music is being redirected, so all the parts are being played by our on-premises environment on the bottom. So we can see the overlap of the colors as the instrument music is being played, as the redirects are causing the music to be played by those 4 instruments down there. What you see here is a service which runs on Google Cloud, which generates music and pushes it through various instrument services that run in our microservices cluster. We have some of those instruments running on Google Cloud in the same cluster as the conductor that's making the music happen. And then we also have some of those instruments deployed in our on-premises environment. Using Istio in its multi-cluster mode, we're able to connect those 2 clusters together to the same network control plane. So we're able to get traffic sent to services based on their host name, and it doesn't matter if that service is deployed in the cloud cluster on GKE or on-premise with GKE On-Prem. You can address that traffic and it will be received by the right service. Another great feature of Istio is to do traffic routing, which you might do to test a new service by saying, I'll deploy the new service and direct a small percentage of traffic to it, and once I'm comfortable that there's no failures, gradually ramp that up over time until I'm sending 100% of my traffic and then turn my old one off. What we have in this environment is these little patch cords where we're able to say, the music for the bassoon, generally the conductor will give that to the bassoon player to play. We have scale, so we can say if we send 5 parts of that, we need 5 bassoon players. But we can also use Istio's virtual services to say, instead of that music going to the bassoon player, let's have a little pixie come and take that on the way and intercept it and give it to the clarinet player. So now it says there are 5 parts of traffic that need to be played by the clarinet player. Scale the clarinet up to 5. You don't need any bassoons, so we can scale them back down, and we can transparently redirect that without the calling or the callee application having to know anything about what's happening.
I see. And what song is this orchestra playing?
If you don't recognize it, this is the theme from Tetris.
Excellent.
It's a Russian folk song, I believe, from the 1890s, which again was made popular in the 1980s. So a nice bit of symmetry there, and a nice little bit of interplay with the concept of Kubernetes container scheduling. We've often used Tetris as a metaphor for how we slot all the pieces into place.
Excellent. And what makes this an interesting problem for us to be solving here at Next?
Kubernetes has become the API of choice for deploying workloads, especially workloads that are containerized or things that can build on top of that metaphor. And we've had GKE for some time. It's been generally available for 3 years now. But if you want to run it in your own data center, it's either take the open source parts or take some third-party product, which generally embeds Kubernetes, but isn't the same as the GKE environment. They're all conformant, so we know that it will run the same workloads, but the management is different, the versions and the upgrade cycle. You have to look at a lot of that yourself.
I see.
So first of all, the problem of running GKE in your data center can be solved by GKE On-Prem. You can use the same management console. All of the things are running here. We can see on the screen we have over here that we're able to see the workloads in a single pane of glass, cloud and on-prem together. The second thing that's been complicated in the past is meshing these 2 things together. Is connecting these 2 disparate networks so that just by calling a host name, we don't need to care whether the service is implemented by this cluster or the one on-prem. We're able just to say, call the bassoon, send it to those pods, it will be served wherever they're running. And indeed, we can change the split and move instruments between the environments.
Excellent. Craig, thank you so much for your time today,
Thank
and
you.
enjoy the last day of the conference.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.